Hey, everybody. My name is Michael Roberts. I'm the Vice President here at SPK and Associates. I'm here with Ed Chung. Edwin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm a director of engineering here. I do lots of different things.
Lots of different things, all the things that are interesting, and that's what we're going to talk about today. In this vlog, we wanted to talk a little bit about an integration that we did with MasterControl and SolidWorks PDM. One of the things that I've seen over the years with companies as they grow, whether they're startups or whether they've been in business for years and they just continue to grow, is that they aren't always able to buy the best-in-class software tools or enterprise-class software tools right out of the gate. And they may need to kind of upgrade and change and integrate tools over the course of time. And Ed wanted to talk today about one of the clients that we worked with and those tools and how they've kind of come to utilize those two tools together and integrate them. Ed, you want to give a little bit of background about what this client was looking for and the tools that they were using?
Yeah, so I absolutely agree that different size companies require different size tools, right? And when you're a single person startup with an ID on a napkin, your budget for quality management systems is significantly different than when you're a Fortune 500 company. And there are a lot of in-between steps between one side and the other. As the companies grow, they expand from using Excel to using something homegrown to using a cheap tool to using an expensive tool. How do I say it? There are doing good things in the beginning can make it much easier to adapt to bigger things on the other end.
Right.
So when we were working with them, right, they pulled us in pretty early. I think they were about a 50-person employee, right? We helped explore things. I personally considered eQMS wrapper, MasterControl, Enovia, right? All of these things were on the table to review with different prices and different features, and we picked the correct choice for that. And the outcome of that research was there were actually two good choices, right? And maybe depending on the company, they may have gone one way or the other, but the way we went was, let's pick the less expensive tool and then plan for 4 years from now, we're going to switch to the more expensive tool, right? The engineers, they were doing mechanical engineering, they were using SolidWorks and SolidWorks PDM. And we derived that since the intellectual property, right, as a research company, before they're doing sales, before they're doing many sales, before they have many manufacturing locations, the real value of their data was inside of SolidWorks and SolidWorks PDM. So we worked very hard to solidify that via both process and configuration and customization. And then we had to export the data to an inexpensive but still very effective, I highly recommended program called eQMS Wrapper, right? It is a quality management system, flexible enough for it to work, and just very importantly, it checks the box, so to speak, for getting it done. And that worked great. And that worked great for 4-ish years. And after 4 years, they're like, hey, we're done with, we've sold more than one product. Now we need to do more advanced things. We need better control. We need vendor access. We need this, we need that. And we have more employees. We have more budget. They switched to MasterControl. MasterControl is a web-based quality management system with a lot of modules. So you can sort of buy the whole pie or buy slices of the pie. I also highly recommend it. And that's it. That's their growth, right? And I was very happy for them that they could grow that way, and in a way that was everything worked really well.
Right. They scaled with their tools as their organization scaled, right?
Exactly.
So tell me about the integration with MasterControl and SolidWorks. Was that super easy? Was that point and click and it was done?
Sure. It was point and click. Hired 14 people to do it, and then it was done, right? I think it wasn't actually that hard, right? And a lot of it is because the real challenge on all of these, I'll say, is the business process. Please define the business process, right? And define it. I'll use the phrase "define it good," but I know that's very ambiguous purposely. But different businesses have different needs. Define the process well, and because this company was forward thinking, which I think has led to their continued success. The business processes they designed when they were a 50-person company did not require starting over when they were I think they're a 500-person company now.
Right.
In terms of the technical integration, I don't know how to describe that. I and the people who work on my team, we really love doing that technical stuff and writing the code and making it work. So I don't want to belittle them by saying it was easy, but certainly when people are motivated and enjoy the work they're doing and enjoy it and like the challenge, things come out really well and are not too difficult.
Yeah, and it helps when these enterprise class platforms have APIs. So if there isn't an easy, kind of out of the box integration, at least there is a path forward to integrate those tools. So, and I think that's a big part of some of the things that we offer too, is we look at a lot of automation, integration with different tools, and that goes a long way with that. So Ed, can you give me a little bit of tangible like business outcomes, things that happen through the integration of MasterControl and SolidWorks PDM?
Well, I'd like to say all of their success is because of it. But I mean, if I really talk about it, they had an alternative, right? When talk about synchronizing data between two systems, the alternative is a human can manually do it, right? And they can make estimates. They can make estimates that, like, based on this number of things, this number of data entry, this cost of employees. At some point, I think they were floating around numbers like for our few 100-person company that they were saving 3 headcount, whatever that costs, 3 people's work by setting up this integration. I could come up with a number, but people cost money. That's a number. They also quantify. I help people with this. I did a talk about it in Chicago last year about a number of error rate, right? Expected error rate based on something, and if you assume that it's a 0.02% error rate and the cost of an error, you can come up with a number such as $100,000 a year saved just for errors, plus $150,000 for staffing costs, right? That's a little conservative, I think, but 3 people. So that's $250,000 a year for having that integration written. In addition to
pretty hefty outcome at the end of the day, right?
I think so. I think it makes a big difference, and it was not hard to justify the $50,000 cost of making and implementing that integration.
Right. And I think at the end of the day, that's the equation that most folks don't understand, is they don't know what's possible. So they go, oh, we got a lot of manual work to do, so we just hire one more person to do that work, as opposed to thinking about what it takes to automate that and make it integrated with whatever systems that you're using. Think about the workflow that you have, and not the tools and limitations that you have in the tools. So thanks, Ed. I really appreciate your time with that. We'll have this up on our website and also on YouTube. We'll have a link to the case study for Master Manager, which is what we call the integration with MasterControl and SolidWorks PDM. We'll have it in the link of this video if you're on YouTube, or in the transcripts on the blog on our website. If you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like and a subscribe. Also, feel free to comment. You can contact us as well at info@spkaa.com. Again, thanks, Ed, for your time, and appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.